Crawford, and you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So following Terrence Crawford's knockout win over Hank Lundy, we did my radio show with the panel, Boxing Ego, Eric Morales, and Miss Boxing Baby. Now, before we did this show, a couple days leading up to the show, I actually told Boxing Ego, I said, be on the lookout, because your boy Terrence Crawford, he just got promoted to the top of the coincidental list. And now you are going to hear people start to talk about Terrence Crawford just like they talked about Floyd Mayweather and Andre Ward. So fast forward to the day of the show. We do the radio show, and Eric Morales, who often plays devil's advocate, and not saying that's by design, this is how he truly feels when it comes to a lot of issues that we discuss on the show. Anyway, he starts to say, okay, he got past Hank Lundy. Let's have Crawford versus Postol next. And I totally agreed. Everyone on the panel agreed. We all would like to see that fight next. In fact, you guys can go back and watch my previous videos. I've talked about I talked about Terrence Crawford versus Viktor Postol, how much I would love to see that fight on many different videos. When Viktor Postol knocked out Lucas Matisse, that was the first thing I said is, man, this is going to be an epic fight at 140. You know, it's almost like a super fight. And when I say super fight, I don't mean financially. You know, like, of course not like Mayweather-Pacquiao. What I mean is an extremely significant fight in the division, which would crown the winner of that fight top 3 pound for pound, one of the best fighters in the world, no doubt about it. So we all agreed that we would love to see Crawford versus Postol next. This is what basically started the debate, or the disagreements, is when Eric Morales basically criticized a Ruslan Provodnikov fight and insinuating that Crawford may be avoiding Viktor Postol to cherry pick a lesser opponent in Ruslan Provodnikov. This is when Eric Morales, to try to present his case, he, by his own admission, started to fudge a lot of the facts. I mean, it is what it is, but he started to lie about Ruslan Provodnikov's record just to make Ruslan Provodnikov look more of a cherry pick. And then he, not me, but Eric Morales, started to compare Crawford's situation to Gennady Golovkin. And he pretty much started to say that they are pretty much in the same boat now. He said that we criticize Golovkin, so now we need to criticize Crawford the same way we criticize Gennady Golovkin. Now, I know you're asking the question right now, Dante, what does Crawford and Golovkin have in common when it comes to their situation? I'm glad you asked the question, because the answer is not a goddamn thing. They don't have anything in common other than they both box. That's what they have in common. They both box. Outside of that, they don't have a whole lot in common. Let me go ahead and break this down. Once again, once Viktor Postol, or I should say, once Terrence Crawford beat Hank Lundy, everyone started to say that Terrence Crawford was ducking Viktor Postol. He's cherry picking. He needs to step up. Why isn't he fighting Viktor Postol? Etc., etc., etc. Now listen, there is always facts, and then there is emotional speculation. And you notice I said emotional speculation. I didn't just say speculation, because the definition of speculation is the forming of a theory. But when it comes to emotional speculation, you are forming your theory on who you like and who you dislike, which is what decafs often do. But the problem that decafs always run into, a decaf's biggest weakness, is the whole truth. That is their kryptonite. A lot of these emotionally attached fans have so much dislike and disdain for fighters on the coincidental list, even when they see the facts presented to them, they still try their best to act like they didn't even see it. And they try to stick with those talking points. Why? Because this is very therapeutic for them. Case in point, Andre Ward. Now, when Andre Ward wasn't fighting, you had decafs that were using these code words for what they really want to call Andre Ward, but they're using these code words. He's inactive, he's boring. But the main code word they're using for him is inactive, right? So that was a year ago, before he fought Paul Smith, before he was scheduled to fight against Sullivan Barrera. They were calling him inactive. Fast forward to present day, now Andre Ward is more active than Manny Pacquiao. He's way more active than Mikey Garcia, who they never say is an inactive bitch and all this other stuff. So he's now active. He's going to fight Barrera in about a week, less than 2 weeks, whatever it is. And then if he gets past Barrera, he's going to fight against the best fighter at light heavyweight, which is Sergey Kovalev. But you know what a decaf still says? A decaf will still say, fuck that inactive bitch. You know, they use these code words for what they really want to call them. No different than calling President Obama a Muslim or a Marxist. Code words. That's what they're called, code words. So the point that I'm making is, even when Andre Ward is active, they still revert back to calling him inactive. It's therapeutic. Even if you slap them in the face with the truth, they will act like they don't see it. Why? Because the truth is, in this sport, the truth is not popular. Let me give you guys another example of decafs trying to basically convince you not to believe your eyes, but believe what they are telling you. Guillermo Rigondeaux, for example. Ever since Guillermo Rigondeaux beat Nonito Donaire, they have been trying to make his life a living hell. You know, usually the more successful you are, the more praised you are, but not when you're on a coincidental list. When you're on a coincidental list, it is the contrary. The more successful you are, the more hated you become, because you become more of a threat to them and their favorite fighters that they actually like. So once again, going back to Guillermo Rigo, fans will sit over here and they'll say he's boring. Ever since he beat Nonito Donaire, now they're using all these code words. Once again, man, code words. I understand the psychology of a decaf, a dumb, casual ass fan. And one more time, for all you guys that don't understand, the definition of a decaf, it ranges from fans that are casuals to fans that, you know, you may be new to the sport. Then you have the fans that are extremely biased, emotionally attached. Then you have the flat out racist fans. And these people can span from some guy on the internet just typing up shit, gang banging on the keyboard, probably got a bandana wrapped around his mouse, ready to go to war, right? And then you have the other decafs that can range from boxing writers to boxing commentators, blow-by-blow announcers like Jim Lampley, who was one of the grand wizards of the decafs. You have a lot of different people that can be decafs in this sport. So going back to Guillermo Rigondeaux, they say he's boring. Cold word this, cold word that. All that boring this and that boring that, right? All of a sudden, Guillermo Rigo, he gets 2 knockouts back to back. The first knockout is in the first round. The second knockout, he fights against a Goliath in his own hometown. What was it? Amagaza. He fights against a Japanese fucking Yao Ming. This dude was damn near 6 foot tall. He was naturally at a higher weight class. He came down in weight just to take this fight with Guillermo Rigo. This guy outweighed Rigo at least by 20 pounds. Rigo goes to war with this guy. Rigo gets knocked down, comes back and stops this Goliath in Artul Gatti style. But yet, people like Jim Lampley, he doesn't put Guillermo Rigo on his Gatti list. And to add insult to injury, after Guillermo Rigo has 2 action-packed fights back-to-back, what do they say? They still call him boring. Code words, man. These are code words. So you're telling me, even if he is action-packed, he's still boring? How does that work? How does that work? So anyway, you guys get the picture. Now you have Terrence Crawford added onto that list of fighters that I just mentioned. So as I've been telling you guys through this video, Terrence Crawford has been charged by the decafs of ducking and avoiding the big bad boogeyman in the division, Viktor Postol. Like I told you guys before, a decaf's worst nightmare is the whole truth. Decafs will always use this emotional speculation to discredit a fighter on the coincidental list. That is, until the truth shows up. Once the truth shows up, that's when decafs run the other way and they try to start changing the subject. And that's exactly what happened with this Terrence Crawford situation. Because recently, Terrence Crawford, he did an interview with HoopJab. Shouts out to HoopJab, another great channel. It's not too many boxing reporters or commentators that are willing to tackle issues that everyone else may be afraid to talk about in fear of backlash, etc., etc. And then you have some people who will speak a little truth, but then once they deal with the backlash, they'll back up real quick and be like, oh, whoa, I don't want nobody calling me no nigga, no monkey, and all that other stuff. So they back up real quick. But I got to give credit to Neil from HoopJab because he has always been consistent with his message. He has great interviews with Roy Jones where him and Roy Jones are sitting down and they're talking about the racial double standards that exist in the sport of boxing. So, shouts out to HoopJab. I'll definitely put the link in the description box. When I get some time, I'll go back to this video and I'll actually add the link to this video so you guys can just click on it as you're watching this video as well. But so getting back to what I was saying, HoopJab does an interview with Terrence Crawford and they ask him a really good question. It was a HoopJab reporter and he basically asked Terrence Crawford, he said, a lot of fans are wondering how come we didn't get Crawford versus Postol and instead we got Crawford versus Hank Lundy. This is pretty much what he asked him, and he started to go into how, Postol, their people said this and that, and this is when Crawford basically cut him off, and this is exactly what he said. I'm quoting him. Quote, listen to this. We asked for that fight. They said they wanted 2 more fights or whatever the case may be. That's what I got word back. It wasn't no Postol calling Terrence out when Crawford didn't have no opponent. Everybody knew I didn't have an opponent. When we was asking for one, you didn't hear Team Postol say, we'll fight him. But then when me and Hank Lundy signed the fight, then you hear, Team Postol saying, we would have fought him. Terrence this, Terrence that. It's all for show. End quote. So there it is. You guys heard it straight from Terrence Crawford's mouth. According to Terrence Crawford, Team Postol asked for 2 more fights before they get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. And soon as Terrence Crawford signed the contract, then Viktor Postol's people said, we would have fought him. We would have fought him after the fact. Now, even with a decaf knowing that information, even after they hear exactly what Terrence Crawford said, even if they go to the link and they actually hear it come right out of Terrence Crawford's mouth, an emotionally attached decaf is going to still try to find a way to call Terrence Crawford some new different code word, because this is what they do. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to decafs, this is really not about boxing. This is about who they like and who they don't like. And we all know who they don't like. You don't believe me when I say this is not about boxing and this is about who they like and don't like? I'll give you a perfect example. Once again, the Grand Wizard of the decafs, Jim Lampley, after Floyd Mayweather beat Marcos Maidana a second time, Jim Lampley, who has a boxing TV show, he gets on his show, and do you know that he talked about Mayweather and he said nothing about boxing? I bullshit you not. Jim Lampley didn't even talk about the Mayweather-Maidana rematch. He went on a tirade talking about how much he couldn't stand Floyd Mayweather. He started talking about personal stuff about Floyd Mayweather, talking about his domestic charges and how he couldn't wait for Floyd Mayweather to be out of the sport. This was Jim Lampley's post-fight analysis of the Mayweather-Maidana rematch. I'm not making this shit up. I am not making this shit up. This man went on a tirade. He almost lost it. Why? Because he was so mad that this man Mayweather won again. You know, for the extremely emotionally attached decafs, watching that first Mayweather-Maidana fight, it actually gave some of these idiots hope, thinking, oh man, you know, Maidana, he really came close to beating Floyd. Maybe, just maybe there's hope that he can beat Floyd Mayweather in a rematch. And once you don't get what you want, now you become the biggest sore loser. And that's exactly what decafs are, on top of a lot of other things. You know, when it comes to the coincidentalists, ain't nothing changed but the names and the dates. That's it. The only things that change are the new names that emerge on the coincidental list. Yesterday it was Floyd Mayweather. Today it's Terrence Crawford. You know, what's so funny is, once again, code words, man. They try to use these code words so that they feel comfortable with their racism. So they use these code words to cover it up. They come up with these silly excuses. Well, you know, the reason why I really don't like Floyd Mayweather is because of the domestic violence case. But motherfucker, Floyd Mayweather was hated 10 years before the domestic violence case. And you were one of the main people hating him. How are you going to say, oh, the reason why I hate that guy is because what he did at the end of his career? Then how do you explain why he was hated 10 years before? Floyd Mayweather didn't start getting hated until he beat Oscar De La Hoya. That's when he became hated. Why? Because when you are on the coincidental list, you need permission to be confident and be telling people that you're the best and you're this and you're that. You don't just go out and do that. You got to go out and you have to apply for your hope insurance. And then if you get approved, then you could go out and act confident and cocky, run around like Ricardo Mayorga talking shit, you know, with cigarettes in your mouth, talking about your opponent's mama, right? Then you could be like Roberto Duran, flipping off Sugar Ray Leonard's wife, not fucking giving dap to your opponent after you guys just fought 15 rounds, still ready to spit on them and all that kind of other shit, pushing them and shit after the fight. You need to have your hope insurance to do that kind of stuff. But if you go out there without your hope insurance, you're going to deal with extreme backlash from the extreme ignorant decafs in the sport of boxing. Now allow me to illustrate the parallel when it comes to Mayweather and Terrence Crawford, so you guys really understand when I tell you ain't nothing changed but the dates and the names. We're dealing with new names, but the same damn movie. So anyway, you look at Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was always accused of ducking Manny Pacquiao. No matter what evidence you presented, these fans would always accuse him of ducking Manny Pacquiao. using these code words. Now, what's so funny about this whole situation is I am one of the people that was there sitting with Freddie Roach when Freddie Roach admitted that in 2008 when they first negotiated, it was Freddie Roach that admitted that it was Manny Pacquiao's fault the fight didn't happen because Manny Pacquiao didn't want to take the test. This is what Freddie Roach said out of his own mouth, guys. I have the interview. Once again, I was there interviewing him. So I'll go ahead and I'll add that link to the description box as well, so you guys can check out some of that truth. Now, even with that video been out, fans, decafs, they still said, oh, he's still scared. He's still a coward. He's scared of Manny Pacquiao. Floyd Mayweather calls up Manny Pacquiao years later. He says, look, man, I'm going to give you $40 million. You know, you're going to make $10 million fighting against Tim Bradley. I'll give you $40 million to fight me. Right? Now, I'm paraphrasing some of this, but Floyd Mayweather is basically like, look, man, if you believe that you can beat me, you got $40 million to beat me, and then if you can beat me, you become the cash cow. And then you start to get paid like I'm getting paid. That's how the De La Hoya situation worked out for Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he ended up, before Floyd Mayweather fought Oscar De La Hoya was the cash cow. Floyd, he comes into the fight, and Oscar only gives him a tiny ass slice of the pie. While Oscar probably made zillions of dollars in that fight, Floyd only made like 10 or 20 million bucks, right? After that fight, who's the cash cow? Floyd Mayweather is now the cash cow. So if Manny Pacquiao believed that he could have beat Floyd Mayweather, he would have said, you know what, I'm going to take this $40 million and then I'm going to go on to make $30 million a fight, $40 million a fight, like Floyd Mayweather was doing very recently before he retired. Okay? So the point that I'm making is Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao a fight back in 2008. Pacquiao turned it down. Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao a fight right before Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. It was before, by the way. So for some of you fans trying to say, oh, you know, chicken, code word, chicken Floyd Mayweather, he waited for Pacquiao to get beat, then he wanted to fight him. No. Floyd Mayweather offered Manny Pacquiao that fight before Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. And it was Pacquiao that turned the fight down. Matter of fact, Bob Arum, he actually said this publicly. It was in boxing websites and everything. Bob Arum said, right now, Top Rank is not interested in a Mayweather fight. We're going a different direction. This is what Top Rank said about a Floyd Mayweather fight. So Floyd Mayweather decides to fight. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going a little too far right now. Actually, Floyd Mayweather, he tried to get Pacquiao to fight him before the Bradley fight. And then Pacquiao decided to fight Bradley instead. So he turned down that $40 million that Floyd offered just to make like $12 million for Tim Bradley. Then Manny Pacquiao loses to Bradley. There's still an offer on the table to fight against Floyd Mayweather. This is when Top Rank, they issued a statement to the public basically saying that they weren't interested at this time in a Mayweather fight and they're going in a different direction. That's what Top Rank said. Once again, man, I give you guys facts. You get the whole truth on this channel. You don't get no speculating, talking about how I hate this person, I hate that person, fuck this guy, fuck that guy. No, you're gonna get the whole truth on this channel. Okay? Straight facts. So anyway, the point that I'm making is, no matter how many times a fighter on the coincidental list tries to pursue a fight with someone, he's always the one that gets called the ducker, the runner, he's afraid, etc., etc. This is exactly what we're starting to see with Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford just said that he offered Viktor Postol a fight, but you still have fans sitting over here saying that Terrence Crawford, he's cherry picking, he needs to step up in competition. Just think of the irony of this all. Terrence Crawford was pursuing a fight with Manny Pacquiao, right? You have organizations and websites today that has Manny Pacquiao ranked as the #1 welterweight in the world. The #1 welterweight. That's over Keith Thurman, Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and fighters like that. They have him ranked as #1, the best in the world, at a higher weight class than Terrence Crawford, where Terrence Crawford fights at 140. This is the guy that Terrence Crawford is trying to fight. Trainers like Robert Garcia said that he would pick Pacquiao to beat Terrence Crawford. Even Floyd Mayweather insinuated that it would be an uphill battle for Terrence Crawford to beat Manny Pacquiao. And yet, this is the fighter that Terrence Crawford was targeting. And these decafs have the nerve to say, who's the coward? Who's the cherry picker? Oh no, not Manny Pacquiao. The guy on the coincidental list, of course, is the cherry picker, right? So Pacquiao turns the fight down. Then Mauricio Herrera, who a lot of these decafs say is the people's champion. How many times have we heard people say, Herrera is the real champion, he got robbed so many times, he should be undefeated, and he's the real champion at 140. So Terrence Crawford calls him out, Mauricio Herrera turns the fight down. Then you have the Siberian Rocky, a guy who's so tough and durable, he fought Lucas Matisse and turned his ass into a pretty boy. He had Matisse in there dancing, moving away from Ruslan Provodnikov. He had him tying up every time Provodnikov got close to him. You had the tough Matisse holding all night. All because he has so much respect for Ruslan Provodnikov. So Crawford reaches out to Provodnikov. Ruslan Provodnikov, he turns down the fight not once, but twice. He turned down the fight before the Hank Lundy fight. He turned down the fight recently to fight a John Molina. Okay? Now we're hearing from Terrence Crawford's own mouth that they actually asked for the Postol fight. And what did Team Postol say? They said, we need 2 more fights before we take a fight with Terrence Crawford. But even with all of these facts, because Terrence Crawford is on a coincidental list, these ignorant ass fans are still going to say the same thing. Fuck that cherry picker. I don't give a damn about no damn facts. Fuck the whole truth. I'm gonna say this because I want to say it, because I don't like him. This is what they are gonna say. There ain't nothing changed on that coincidental list, but the names and the date. You know, going back to the radio show we had when we were debating this topic, this is why I tried to tell Eric Morales, you don't speak on things you have no factual information on. This is why you don't just go out emotionally speculating, because the shit may come back to bite you in the ass. Now, it's funny because there was one guy in the comment section who actually said, you know, you guys always critique Canelo and Golovkin, but you don't want to criticize Crawford when it comes to stepping up, etc., etc., etc. You know, he was saying, I was surprised that Eric Morales came back and did the radio show because of the way you guys attacked him. What Eric Morales said was very reasonable. We just want to see Crawford step up, etc., etc., etc. And I'm telling you guys this because once again, he was trying to compare Terrence Crawford to Gennady Golovkin. Now, I want you guys to understand something. It's Eric Morales and people in the comment section that continue to compare what Terrence Crawford is going through to what a Gennady Golovkin is going through. And it ain't even apples and oranges, it's apples and rocks. Okay? It ain't even close. I just completely debunked any speculated theory of Crawford ducking tough competition and trying to cherry pick. Only when you are on the coincidental list do you call out everybody and you're the only person that gets called a cherry picker. Not the fighters that actually turned down the fight. No. They don't get called cherry pickers. Only the guy that called them out get called cherry pickers. Man, oh man, shit. Wait until I drop the documentary on the coincidental list. Film festival, here we come. So let me get this right. You don't like Floyd Mayweather because of his domestic violence case. Even though you're a boxing fan and you watch boxing because you like to watch the sweet science, you don't like this man because of something that he did outside of boxing. You call him a woman beater. Okay, so if that's the case, why do you hate Al Haymon just as much as you hate Floyd Mayweather? He has no domestic violence charges or cases pending or anything like that. So how does that work? Al Haymon is not walking around talking about his money, flashing his money. So why does Al Haymon get treated the exact same way Floyd Mayweather does when they have nothing in common? Oh, except for the fact that coincidentally, they're both black. How does that work? How does that work? See, I'm breaking it down for you. I'm breaking it down for you guys so you know you could see a decaf coming a mile away. You can smell the ignorance. See, when it comes to decafs, what their goal is to throw as much stuff on the wall until eventually something sticks. And what that basically means is, if this excuse doesn't work, we'll come up with a different excuse. We'll keep coming up with some excuse until we get some people to listen to it or believe it, right? So if you tell someone, or you tell these fans, you know, the reason why I don't like Floyd Mayweather is because of the domestic violence case, or the reason why I don't like, you know, Guillermo Rigo because he's boring. The reason why I don't like this guy because he doesn't get knockouts. I like to see knockouts, etc., etc. Oh, it's knockouts. That's what it is, right? Well, if that's the case, why are you treating Deontay Wilder the exact same way you treat Andre Ward? Style-wise, they have nothing in common. Really, they have nothing in common, but coincidentally being the same damn color. We could go on and on and on with this coincidental list. When you're on the coincidental list, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. They said that Floyd Mayweather, he fights scared and he doesn't like to engage and etc., etc. He just cares about his health. And then when Floyd Mayweather gets into a toe-to-toe battle, laying on the ropes the whole night, you know, doing a rope-a-dope with Miguel Cotto, he got a bloody nose and everything. Now all of a sudden these same fans, instead of saying that's what I wanted to see now I have more respect for Floyd because he's fighting toe to toe, that's what I wanted to see. No, they don't say that. When Floyd Mayweather gives them what they want, then they say, look at you, Floyd. I thought you had such great defense. Now you got a bloody nose. Look at you getting all beat up and shit. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I like to call it the Trayvon Martin effect. If you guys remember that case with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, teenage boy walking home from the store with a bag of Skittles, grown-ass man basically gets out of his car, shoots, and kills Trayvon Martin. Now, George Zimmerman's supporters, they will say, well, if Trayvon Martin was so innocent, why did he run? And then you have other Zimmerman supporters that will say, well, if he's so innocent, why did he stay there and try to fight with Zimmerman? Why didn't he run? You see how that works? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is what we see in boxing. It doesn't matter if you are a boxing defensive wizard or if you are a knockout artist. If you don't have the complexion for the protection, then you will be treated the exact same way. You don't believe me? Ask Deontay Wilder. Ask Julian Williams. Ask Nicholas Walters. Ask Errol Spence. Matter of fact, speaking of Errol Spence, I just received a message or a comment from someone a couple days ago. And he basically started the comment off saying, yeah, man, Errol Spence is really good, man, but he's just so fucking boring. There that code word goes again. He's so boring. Errol Spence, the guy that fights on the inside, is one of the most vicious body punchers in the sport of boxing and is knocking out almost everyone. Even he's boring. A knockout artist on the coincidental list is just as boring as a defensive fighter who's not getting knockouts. What a coincidence. Listen, love without truth is hypocrisy. Truth without love is brutality. You guys understand that? One more time, let me say it. Love without truth is hypocrisy. You know what that means? That means people who base things on emotion and not facts, they often contradict themselves. You know, like Floyd Mayweather, he should move up and wait and he should fight against Gennady Golovkin. Oh, but when it comes to Gennady Golovkin moving up and weight to fight Andre Ward, when Golovkin himself said he wanted to move up and fight 168 pounders, now it's fuck that guy Andre Ward, leave Golovkin alone, etc., etc. Code word this, code word that, right? Once again, because it's based on emotion. It's based on love and hate equaling hypocrisy. What I give you guys is the brutal truth, because truth without love is brutality. In other words, the truth hurts. You know, I have a lot more to talk about. I'll talk about it on a separate video. Obviously, this video then ran a lot longer than I expected it to be, but it is what it is. That's all I got for now. I'm on to the next one.
Hey, what advice can you give him? I know you sparred Bradley yourself for Pacquiao 1. You watching Deontay News? You gotta say it like that, dog. You gotta say it like that.